Hey guys, welcome back. It is Chase, and as promised, we broke down the touchscreen. I dodged music so that you would have to click on this video if you wanted to know about it. This is the hottest and most advanced music searching system in a fully functional smart home, right? So if you guys have a control system, you love Sonos, you know the pains. You've got to tell the control system what rooms you want turned on, then you're going to the Sonos app to pick out your selection. Josh has completely done away with this necessity, and it's when Sonos based or whatever platform, Autonomics. Guys, I know there's not much on the internet about them. Those products are rock solid, and the streaming quality on them blows me away for their price point. Regardless, you centralize every single streaming service in Josh for Music. So let's say the wife's a Spotify user, the husband's an Apple Music user, the grandma's a Pandora user, and the kids got Tidal. All right. For you searching for music, you can search any of those platforms natively, search across all of them, search for playlists, songs, artists, genre, general radio stations, you name it. It has really brought back the music streaming to a single centralized platform. So let's go ahead and for copyright reasons, I'm gonna go ahead and tell them to play music in the far side of the house real quick. I'm gonna give out a prompt for Chris Stapleton just to keep it easy. We'll see what it does. We'll go in there. We'll see how the grouping works. We'll see how song selection searches, but let's go ahead and get a room started first. Listen to Chris Stapleton in the master suite. Now playing Chris Stapleton. Okay, you guys notice I said suite, not bedroom? That's kind of how you divide up the Josh home, right? So when I say suite, that's the master bedroom, the master patio, and the master bathroom. I could have just said play music in the master bathroom, the master bedroom, or the patio, but by that, I have linked that entire area of the home really quick. So you can say turn on the main house, turn on the first floor, second floor, great room, which would include our living, kitchen, dining, and foyer. So there's a lot of fun stuff you learn as you play, and you can always reorganize the rooms later if they get confusing or whatever. So we're gonna hit the show music button right there. And like I said, we now got Chris Stapleton playing in the master bath, the master bedroom, and the patio. Doesn't matter which one we click on because the rooms are linked, right? You can't have separate streams, you know, as many streams as you want based on your streamer. Here we have 3 unique streams. Typically, if it's a big music household, a big house, I recommend a bunch of streamers. But for this, it's powered by 3 Sonos ports. My bad. So as you can see, I can tell, and again, there's no music because playing it on the opposite side of the house for copyright reasons. So we see the album cover here, the song, the artist, what's it streaming on. We're using Apple Music right now. We've got our play, pause, repeat, shuffle, okay, our grouping button. Let's start with this little thing that kind of looks like a star grid, right? Tell me more about this song. So I'm a big music head. I use this feature religiously. Some people don't use it at all. And look at that. Josh has now spit out a bunch of info on Chris Stapleton, as well as the album and the specific track this is on. So this is really cool, especially when you're listening to a radio station and you might not know the artist or the song well enough. You can learn about the background, figure out, you know, how the song was developed. You'll get really cool things on some songs. Like you look up some Beatles songs that'll talk about how the album was recorded, cut and spliced. There's like a lot of cool, if you're like an audio fanatic, this is a really cool, just like assistant. Tell me about what's playing right now. Figure that out, run it through ChatGPT. Now you know. So we're here. Again, we can pause, play, we can micro control volume for the room. And you saw that. So that was just for the master bedroom. I've got a master knob down here, which I love, guys. So that's everything with the music. You see that all jumping? But now I could come in here and just turn down the patio. And that's going to drop my master by a bit, right? Because the master's an average. But as you can see, individual volume control as well as global control there. I can hit my grouping button there. As you can see, we're just in the master suite now. You can go ahead and hit select all, right? Now that'll be every distributed audio zone in the house. I don't know how many is in this house off the top of my head anymore, Zach, but probably 20, 24. It's a lot. You can hit save. Then a couple seconds later, same streams playing in the whole home. I'm going to hit the exit to not save that because I do not want the speakers around me playing. And again, we've got our text window there, which now instead of saying, text Josh about a command in the home, since we're in the music integration, it says search, right? We're not searching favorites that we've saved to Josh. We're searching Spotify. We're searching Apple Music title directly into their catalog, guys. Full seamless audio integration. I can hit the mic button here, tell him to stop, change my music. You can call it out by voice in the room. Now, right below that, what am I looking at? So I've got favorites, right? So Tennessee Whiskey Station by Chris Stapleton was a favorite. I probably should just pick that. We've got some pop stations, some winter chills, right? So those are something the homeowner has chosen to favorite on Apple Music. Up here, we've got a little rundown of what's going on. Chris Stapleton is the artist, God is Good is the album. So I can go ahead and click on the artist directly, or the album right there. Let's go ahead and click on Chris Stapleton. It's going to pull us back up there. Now below that, we've got our collections. So these are our genre selection, right? So if I go ahead, since I'm on Apple Music and I hit hip hop, it's going to just search for a general hip hop radio station on Apple Music and play that. Jazz, blues. I mean, guys, look at this genre list. It is extensive. White noise. I didn't notice that before. That's pretty cool. My brain runs, guys.
That's why we love you, Chace.
Yeah. All right. So as you can see here, the collections are assigned to Apple Music right now. Okay. I'm going to click on Apple Music. Check this out. Now I can choose to search, instead of Chris Stapleton on Apple Music, for some reason, I can go to Spotify, TuneIn, or Pandora right there. As far as the genre selection, now we're going to take it to that final step that blew me away and the reason why we're shooting this video today. All of this is already groundbreaking. And Zach has a distributed audio system with Sonos. He can tell you this is already a mile above of the competitors' music integration right now. This is the crazy part. I'm going to hit the search button here. Apple Music is selected there in the corner. You can see my recent, since I just selected Chris Stapleton, it's right there. And I can choose to search via voice or tapping. So let's just type in rap here and see what comes up. So we're searching all, right? That's probably not the best search for you. Okay, because we've got songs, we've got genres, we've got playlist here, we've got artists. But you see these tabs: artist, genre, songs, album, stations. Now in Apple Music, I can search for rap artist. And it's not going to pull up a lot because that's not a great search term, right? But I've got Lil Wayne, Kendrick Lamar. Search up genre. Obviously now these are genre playlists and stuff. We can go to rap songs, which who knows what this is going to bring up right now. Albums related to rap. So again, let me go ahead and refine the search a little bit so it's a little more usable. If you were using a command like rap, the station section would be what you're looking for. But honestly, that's a preset genre on the front screen where you don't have to search anyway. So to keep things the same, we'll go look up Chris. All right, so we're searching for Chris Stapleton. We're going to hit our search. Let's go over here. And as you can see, we're filtering on albums. So we've got a summary of Chris Stapleton albums. And then once you kind of start moving through the more popular Chris Stapleton albums, you're going to see albums he's featured on, things like that. But again, we can go to Chris Stapleton station now on Apple TV. We can go to just his songs. Genre isn't that helpful, obviously, when you're searching for an artist. Obviously, when we hit artist, it's going to prompt us to go to Chris Stapleton's page, which we're playing the Chris Stapleton channel on Apple Music. And then unless you're just looking for the artist page, probably not the right tab to be looking for something very specific unless it's a song, like type in Baby Got Back, that'll show up there. So I'm going to click on this Apple icon. Click on this Apple icon right here. I'm going to hit Spotify, and now my results are going to refresh, but using my Spotify account. Okay. So now we're deep diving Spotify. That's how simple it is to switch between every user of the household's preferred platform. And we'll jump right over into Pandora, where we don't have, micro selection, but it's kind of thinks about it for you. So we can go ahead and call on stations. Now these recents, you see the Chris Stapleton album twice. That's because one of these was generated through Apple, one of them was generated through Spotify. So you're not really gonna be doing that. But point being, I've done everything here. I haven't, and again, it's a Sonos powered system, guys. It's not, Josh isn't a music streamer himself natively. So he's talking to Sonos ports. They're logged into the platforms, Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music. Those are also authenticated with Josh. And now I've got seamless audio control of the whole home, what actually seems like smart distributed audio. So one button touch, you're there, you're going, you group your zones, you call your artist, and again, you can have Chris Stapleton playing on the top wing and, whatever else you want, rainforest sounds in the main area or whatever. However many streams your house needs, it can be built for that on the back end. End user experience is the same. So turn off all the music in the house. Music stopped. Josh is smart enough to find what rooms there's music playing in, stop each of those streams individually, and reset us to a base configuration, which is this record player with no music. So now that I'm in the master bedroom and nothing's there, there's not a lot going on, but I've still got my search section, and I can go ahead. Let's listen to lo-fi in the master bedroom now. So ended up on my room. It's going to take a second to sync. It's pulling, I guess it's trying to pull lo-fi from Pandora at the moment. It's probably not the best. Let's go back to Apple Music. All right. Boom, and we'll go ahead and select pop. But anyway, guys, I don't use genre selections. What's really important to me is the searching Spotify and Apple Music without opening up those apps, right? Telling them, okay, there we go. I don't know who this is. It's probably a terrible song. Sorry, dog. But yeah, that's really weird selection for rap. Stop all the music in the home. So the one thing about these touchscreens, because I'm in a room without speakers right now, you guys hear me specifying locations. If this was in the master bedroom, I would just say, listen to Chris Stapleton. I wouldn't have to specify a location. Same goes for the voice modules. The only time you tell Josh a location is when you're trying to control a location you are not in. So if you're in the master bedroom and you want to make sure the guest apartment lights are off, make sure they're off in the guest apartment. Again, the typical all off light command doesn't work because that's counted as a separate home because you don't want to bother the renters when you're saying goodnight in the main home. So that's a sweet breakdown on Josh's, what I would consider, we wouldn't have thought it was, but groundbreaking audio navigation and simple one-touch solutions. I never have to leave the Josh ecosystem for any part of my control system. And that truly makes this a smart home, right? It's an AI assistant, does everything via voice, touch, or app, just like you'd want. It's cutting edge, and I can search Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Tidal directly in the system without leaving and going to those individual apps. This is the only provider you get that type of high-level integration on currently. I'm sure it'll come, but right now this is what's cutting edge. So thank you guys for joining me for this breakdown on the new Josh audio structure and why it is mind-blowing and why this is selling the system on its own right now. Okay. If you're looking for a smart home system, whether Josh or any of the other providers we call, the sooner you reach out, the better. Whether you're just getting architectural plans together, you don't even have floor plans yet, or you've been living in the house for 15 years and it's time to renovate. Again, Josh can overlay onto some existing control system. It's also not that hard to bring this in. Gives you that modern experience, a smart home that actually feels smart. Gets me pumped, guys. So again, thanks for joining. Reach out for a free consultation. If you don't know what control system's right for you, don't worry about it. We are the experts. Based on your needs of use, what you want out of it, every control platform has different pros and cons, and we want to help you help guide you to the one that works for your lifestyle. So again, reach out for that free video consultation. Let's start your smart home journey today.